Now then, last week I got the ZX-10 out to take it for a bit of a spin, but unfortunately I wasn't able to because the battery was absolutely flat as a pancake. So I put some charge into it, and I never ended up taking the bike out because by the time it was charged up, it was a bit too late. So I thought I'd have another go today. Now unfortunately the garage that I'm keeping the bike in doesn't have power in it, so I haven't been able to leave it on charge. So I'm hoping the charge that I put in it last week will still be enough to start. Oh, that's a good sign. So we've got a little bit of power. The other week it didn't do that until I charged it up. Oh, you ball bag. As soon as the sun's out and the sky's blue, I'd make the most of the nice day and get the ZX-10 out. I did have to charge the battery up, as you might have already seen, but it just needed an hour or so of charging and it fired up fine. And I'm hoping now, after a decent run, that'll be my my flat battery woes finished for the year, for the off season. Because I plan on getting out on this bike a fair bit, especially when we get days like this. I've put my new RST heated gloves on for today, but I've not turned them on because it's actually not too cold. 11 degrees we've got down there, the dash says. So one of the issues I've got with this bike already, it doesn't have a fuel gauge. Throttle position and brake position. Again, we don't really need that, do we? What I want to know is how much fuel I've got. There will be a fuel light, but yeah, I want to know now. What's that button do? There's a lot to get used to on this, so I shall look forward to spending the next 12 months getting used to it. Now I have got a few bits planned upgrade wise for this. I want to put an exhaust pipe on it because I mean, there's so much potential there. It's such a beautiful sounding engine. It's just muted by the standard can. So we've got an exhaust on order. The other thing I've ordered so far is some crash protection, because I've got a bit of a reputation. Every little helps in that department. I want to lower the gearing a little bit because, I mean, the gearing is mega tall, particularly first gear. They're great for riding on big long tracks, but you know, for normal use it's a bit short. They did make the gearing shorter on this bike compared to the old bike, but yeah, it could do to be even shorter still, especially when you've got such a revvy engine. The first job though is to get some fuel. Just as I ride through town, I find myself being extra cautious, just because of those new rules. I don't know if you've heard about these new hierarchy of road users rules. Apparently the Department for Transport, or the people who write the highway code, have decided that certain road users are more vulnerable than others, which yeah, they are. So the road users who are the least vulnerable have the most responsibility to look after those that are most vulnerable. So the most vulnerable are pedestrians, and motorcyclists. We're kind of quite high on the vulnerability spectrum. We're quite vulnerable, so everyone's got to look after us, and we've got to look after the pedestrians. What I think probably is a better idea is everyone just kind of looks out for themselves and each other all the time. Doesn't matter whether you're in a truck or pushing a perambulator. Be careful. Oh, it's ever so sunny. Right. This is where I open the tank, and it's absolutely full of petrol. And I needn't have bothered coming. I should have done that before I left, shouldn't I? That would have been the sensible thing to do. Oh no, I don't think there's much in there. Guess I'm glad I stopped. Whoa, fuck. Pay at kiosk. Right, what we've got there, E10. Stick a bit of E10 in it. This was supposed to be a 44 teeth long-term test bike last year, but it obviously with the problems that the whole world had with COVID and supply chains and all the rest of it, it didn't turn up until, oh fuck, whoops-a-daisy, didn't turn up until quite late in the year. Oh, I've got to make that 15 quid, aren't I? Yes. I'll move this out of the way and someone else can get in. Why didn't you pull forward and then someone could have got in behind you, mate? What a div, he's left his van there and there's people queuing out the bloody petrol station. Now, hey, watch what you're doing. I am only wearing jeans and a jacket today, so we're not going to go daft. Just going to go and have a nice steady ride. And it is still, you know, it's still February, so we're not, the roads are cool, they're a bit slimy. We'll save the heroics for later in the year. Or we'll save the heroics for the racetrack, shall we? We don't go fast on the road. As much as I am a massive fan of sports bikes, and particularly superbikes, litre sports bikes, I can't help thinking it's almost a tiny bit frustrating riding at 60 miles an hour on a road like this, you know, on a bike that's capable of so much more. No, because they're so good. You know, this will do nearly, probably will do 200 miles an hour if you had a straight long enough. And you're sitting at 60, just, I don't know, it just seems a shame. And I suppose that's probably one of the reasons why so many people have made the jump to different types of bikes, you know, naked sports bikes or adventure bikes or just different bikes altogether. Because obviously, you know, we all know we don't see as many sports bikes on the roads as we used to, which I think is a crying shame. But I suppose in a lot of ways they've become a bit of a victim of their own success. They've got so good, they've almost got too good for the road. They're certainly too fast for the road. I suppose the majority of people that are still riding sports bikes are probably just like me. They just love sports bikes and love the idea of having a sports bike and having a bike that you can ride fast if you want to when no one's looking, and has that sporty feel about it and that sporty look about it. I guess a little bit of it's fashion, like most stuff. I guess it doesn't really matter how fast you get from A to B, because a lot of the time when you go out for a ride on your bike, you're not actually going anywhere, you're just going for a ride. Like this, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going nowhere fast. I'm not going nowhere fast at all, am I? I'm going nowhere slowly. 54 miles an hour and counting. Oh shit. Better slow down for WETWANG. One of the things I like about the Kawasaki is, although yeah, it's a sports bike, it's not got that like fully menacing sports bike riding position to it, which on the track definitely works, but when you're riding it on the road, it's kind of, it's not always the most comfortable way to ride. And I think because the Kawasaki is quite big and quite long, it feels, you don't have to tighten yourself up too much to get sat on it, which is definitely going to help longer rides. I mean, today I'll probably only be out for an hour or two, but if you want to do a long ride on a sports bike, you need to be prepared to be uncomfortable for the second half of it. Well, I found the button that changes the light of the dash. That one that says reset makes the dash go from black to white. I just had a bit of a go at trying to get the cruise control working then, but it wasn't having it for some reason. Maybe you need to be doing a certain speed or a certain revs or be in a certain gear, I don't know. Shifter works well. I'd like a louder pop though. I like a shifter pop. Right, let's see if we can get this cruise control working. Got the little cruise control light, so the light comes on, but it doesn't. I'm going to end up crashing, concentrating on that bloody cruise control instead of. There's another button down there, look, select. Ah, fuck knows. Now now then. There used to be a little cafe here. If it still is, if there is, I might nip and get a coffee. Looks like there might be. I don't know if it's open. A few bikes parked there. Right, I'm going in there. Right then. Got myself a little coffee, and now I'm going to go home because it's really cold. That says 10 degrees, but I'm not sure that it is, because it said 10 degrees when we set off, and it's a lot colder now. I've had to put the old heated gloves on. Welcome, ladies and gents, to WETWANG. Incidentally, that's one of Fagan's favourite place names. I hadn't even realised the hilarity of it until it was pointed out to me by Al. Obviously, it is very funny. WETWANG. I like this ZX-10 so much, I've got a wet wang. It's making my wang wet in WETWANG. This ZX-10's giving me a wet wang in WETWANG. Oh no, that's the wrong road. Not paying attention. I'm not sure having a lean angle indicator on a road bike is a good idea, because you find yourself just, well, I certainly do anyway, just seeing how much lean I can get, which isn't sensible at all. Mind you, I suppose there's much sensible about a 200 brake horsepower bike, is there? We don't ride them because they're sensible. We ride them because they're not sensible. Well, I don't like it when people park like that, because it looks like they're about to pull out, doesn't it? I don't like many things, do I? I'm a bit of a miserable sod, come to think of it. Oh! Hey, do you know what? I actually forgot we were in road mode, so that's how much difference it makes. Didn't actually notice it. Granted, we're not really giving it the berries. More berries to be given, por favor. No, we're not giving it the berries today, because it's a cold day. There we go, look, 7 degrees it's dropped to now. I even think it's colder than that. And I'm not really dressed for berryage. Barrage. A barrage of berry giving. Dead lane. Oh god. It's a bit morbid, isn't it? Where do you live? Dead lane? Oh, sorry to hear that. Ooh. Well, even if it is a cold day, it looks nice, doesn't it? It looks pretty. The sun's kind of half out. The fields are getting slightly greener. It'll soon be summer. It will soon be warm. And we'll all be able to enjoy our bikes properly. Get our portion of vitamin D. You'll be able to have a portion at home. Speaking of portions, I'm rather hungry. I've put myself on a bit of a diet again, because but my weight was creeping up. I am a bit of a yo-yo dieter. My waistband fluctuates quite violently these days. The problem with going on a diet is you just lose a bit of weight temporarily, which isn't really doing anyone any good, is it? I just need to stop being a fat bastard, and having a diet, going on our diet, is bollocks. You just need to be more healthy. You just need a healthier lifestyle, do more exercise, eat less shit. I'm gonna go through Lund. Fuck 'em. Too much traffic. I'm certain I'll come out further back in that queue of traffic than I entered, but I don't like sitting in traffic. This is a quaint little... oh shit. Bit of whiskey throttle there. Thought I was going to go off the back of it. As I was saying, this is a rather quaint little village, isn't it? They ain't got a big Tesco or out like that. You want a big Tesco, don't you, where you live? What they have got is a stink of pig shit, which, to be honest, I actually don't mind. As far as animal feces go, I think pig dirt is the least offensive smelling one. Look at that. Look, that road's clear now. Bet we're going to get there just as a big row of traffic appears though. Oh no, we're alright. If I get the hammer down. In summertime these roads are packed with bikes. Well, not packed, but quite heavily populated. But because of that, you do get quite a lot of popo up and down. They come up and down here in the or so I've heard. They come up and down here, you know, with the undercover bikes. It was always summer and a future called. We were ready for adventures and we wanted them all. There was so much left to dream and so much time to make it real. Oh, fucking shithouse. That's what happens when you don't concentrate. Hey, up there. Lovely and warm, by the way. The old RST heated gloves. This is the first time I've used them in anger, and they're doing a smashing job. Absolutely great job. Oh yeah, absolutely fantastic. Thanks for joining me on my first UK ride of the year. Actually, this is on the ZX-10, so that's a bit of an accolade. If accolade is the right word, don't know. Probably not. But I'm glad to have had your company. And is that a camera? It's like a bloody thing there. So things we need to work on the ZX-10 in a nutshell are the sound, because it's a little bit flat, and the gearing, and the brakes are a little bit spongy. Probably just because it's a bit new, but that might be one of the things that I want to do. I'm a bit fussy when it comes to brakes. Thanks for joining me. Adieu.